right, hi everyone, welcome back to Planet Dirt. My name is Alicia and today is not a great day. It is cold, it is so cold, and it's just supposed to get colder. So like many people, I had a very warm March, which is very unusual for this time of year. Usually we don't even see temperatures that are above freezing until at least mid-April, and so by the time our last frost comes in early May, it is very welcome. But this year, we basically had most of March that didn't freeze. It was very bizarre. We got a lot done outside because we actually wanted to be out here. But April came and it is supposed to get down to 22 degrees tonight. And the problem with that, so I have fruit trees, and these are relatively young fruit trees, like in terms of fruiting. They're pretty young. So I think this one's third year, this one's second year, and then I have two cherry trees that are on their first and second year. So they're still very new trees and they haven't produced anything yet. I've gotten zero fruit out of these trees yet, and this year they have already flowered and are starting to bud, and it's the first week of March and now we're gonna dip down again well below freezing. Like, it's close to a hard frost. And so I'm a little scared. This one right here is, so this one is covered in ladybugs, which is crazy. It's got, I'm gonna try not to disturb them. It's seriously got like 12 ladybugs on it right now, which is crazy. But it was absolutely beautiful. I'll see if I can find a picture. It started blooming in like the second week of March because we had been pretty warm. So if I bring you in closer, all right, so it's hard to tell because it's green on green, but if you look right there, there are little tiny plums all over this tree already, and a frost is gonna come tonight and it's gonna kill them all. So I have lots of frost fabric, but I also have a bunch of blankets because it's not gonna be a light frost. It's not like we're gonna dip down to 30 and then maybe it'll be cold for a couple hours before the sun starts coming up. These are also trees that get afternoon sun, and so they don't warm up the second the sun starts to come up. The sun is over there and it has to go over this wall, and so by the time it warms up on this side of the yard right here up against this wall, it's usually probably 10 or 11 in the morning. So they're gonna get cold for at least a few hours, and I don't know if the frost fabric by itself is going to cut it. So I also got some blankets and I got some ties to hopefully wrap them up. This one is pretty big. I did not prune this, and I know it's a terrible idea to prune it right now, but I want to save as much fruit as I possibly can to see if I can get anything off of it this year. Because like I said, this is the first fruit tree. Okay, this is not the first fruit tree that I planted on this property. A couple died. But this is my oldest fruit tree on this property, and I still haven't gotten any fruit off of it. I know that that's not unusual, but I would like some fruit. So I would like some plums. And then, all right, so this one has a ton of flowers on it. This one has a few. So this one probably has like 30 or so buds on it. Some of them didn't fully pollinate, and I can see those ones and they're starting to fall off, but there are a few that are starting to bud up, and so I want to save this one as well. This one's much smaller because it's a year younger, and so this one I can probably pretty easily cover. This one I might have to come in and prune off a couple of the higher branches so that I can reach over and make sure everything's covered, because we're actually supposed to get down to about 22 tonight. It's not going to be one of those things where it gets close to freezing or it gets down to, like, it says it's gonna get to 30 but it might just barely freeze. No, it's supposed to get to 22, so it's going to get very cold tonight. It's already pretty cold, and so I want to do this while the sun is still up so that if there is any warmth in there, it's gonna keep it in there. But yeah, I'm just really sad that I have to do this. Honestly, I kind of saw it coming because we had such a warm March, but I'm going to do my best to actually get fruit this year. And it looks like that's possible. Now, on the other side of my yard, I have 2 cherry trees, and I'm going to go over there and we're going to look at the buds to see what we're working with, to see if it's even worth it to cover them, because I have 2 cherry trees right next to each other, and one of them is brand new. So the first one this is its 2nd year, and when I say 2nd year, like this is the first, it's gotten 2 full years of growth in my yard. So that one I really thought was going to give me fruit last year, and it said it was self-pollinating. It lied. It was not self-pollinating at all. And so I needed to cross-pollinate it with someone. So I got a bare root cherry tree. I planted it last fall, and it has had a couple of blooms, but they didn't come in on quite at the same time as the other one was waking up. And so I don't know if they actually cross-pollinated this year, because one of them was bare root, and it was just getting established. So we're gonna go over and take a look and see what those look like, and if it's even worth it covering them. I also have a couple of blueberry bushes that I think I have to cover too. Do blueberries, do those fall off too? I think so. I think those ones fall off too. The raspberries, those haven't started to flower yet. The blackberries, no flowers or anything yet, and so I don't have to worry about those. The foliage on those is totally frost tolerant, and so I don't have to worry about those as much. But the fruit trees, y'all, we gotta get these protected. So I'm gonna start with these, and then I'm actually gonna go get my clippers so that I can try to get this one down to a little bit more manageable size. I did not prune it this year in the early spring because it was so warm. It was so warm. I fully intended to prune this thing in mid-March, and it just never happened because it started budding. So this isn't a great time to prune it, but I mean, it's also not the worst time to prune it. It could be worse. All right, you guys, this is a little painful, I'm not gonna lie, because I waited. I don't like pruning things anyway because it feels like I'm like cutting back the tree, but I waited, and there's tons of little buds on these things. Ugh. Okay, so I know I have to trim back that one because it's way too tall, and so I'm gonna pop that one off, and then I'll probably come over here and these ones too. I'm gonna leave these lower ones alone. But I think these ones have to go, unfortunately. Makes me so sad. All right, some of these are growing really weird anyway, so honestly, I just needed to prune this earlier in the year and I didn't, so that's on me. That's on me. It's my bad. Oopsie poopsies, as they say. Shout out to my burnt peanut lovers out there. Yeah, some of these are growing in on themselves, but if you look at right there, like that's a future plum. That's 2 future plums right there that I just had to cut off, and now I'm sad. Oh, and there's a ladybug on this one. All right, I'm gonna go up a little bit higher. Look, there's a ladybug on it. I think that's actually not a ladybug. I think they're the orange, like Japanese ones, but they still eat aphids, so that's fine. Okay. I think, honestly, it's not that bad. It's not very bad, which is why I didn't really worry about doing it earlier. But I still would like to be able to reach the fruit on the tree. I'm not that tall, so I think that's a very ambitious goal, expecting me to be able to reach all the fruit, but still, I would like to be able to reach most of it. All right, so these ones look good. There's a couple that are growing in like crossing over and growing into the tree, so I'm gonna get those out while I'm in here. But the rest I am just going to leave, because like I said, I'm just trying to get this to a size that I can cover it pretty easily. And I'll do a big hard prune next year, in the spring, and hold me to it, guys. I'll remember. That is the silliest looking weatherproofing I've ever done, but there it is. So both of my trees look like they're wrapped up to give to a little kid at their 5th birthday party. But this one was a blanket I had. They're all pretty thick, but they're breathable. But this one was just more of like a really long strip. It was a baby blanket for one of my kids. But it has these nice little ties on it that I could tie together. So I picked this one to put around the bottom because I just needed something to strip along the bottom that I could tie tight. And then this one, this tree is a lot smaller. It was much easier to do because I could just put the frost fabric over it and then wrap one throw blanket over it. And then I only had to tie it down here and then secure it up there. So this one looks really good. I'm happy with it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little worried about this one. A little worried, just because that was some hillbilly engineering if I ever did it. So, yes, Leo, are you curious? Are you curious as to what is happening? He's like, what did you do to my tree, Mom? This is where I pee. You know this is where I pee. Anyway, so all right, let's go look at the cherry trees and see how they're faring and if they're even worth covering up with this one. All right, so this is what I was saying with the blueberries though. Like some of them have started to flower a little bit. And so I wonder if I should wrap those up because I feel like that's gonna fall off, freeze and fall off. My other blueberry over here doesn't look, I mean, this one doesn't look good or anything, but it does have some fruit on it. Honestly, these plants are pretty like stunted. They're not doing so great. So I think I might just let this do this and have the berries fall out so that it can focus this year on growing branches instead of blooms. So maybe we'll do that. Alrighty, so this is where the cherry trees are. So like I said, this is the one. This one has been here for 2 years now, and it looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. It was covered in flowers, but the one that is right next to it has barely started to get going, and so it has a couple flowers on it now. And so I honestly just don't even know if this other one is worth covering up because it's kind of big. It's kind of big, and I don't know that anything pollinated on it. I guess I could go look up and see how to tell if they've pollinated. I don't think that they would have if the other one is so underdeveloped. So the other one is a bare root, and I just got it into the ground a few months ago. So I didn't expect it to produce anything this year. It was more for setting it up for success next year. But I mean, there are a couple blooms. I could chance it. So if you come in here, there are a couple of blooms that are still there. And over here. So I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll come and cover these. And we'll see what happens. Alright, y'all. It's a lot more calm in the greenhouse. It is windy outside and it's starting to get very cold. So I'm going to water the things that are in the greenhouse because I don't think I'm going to be coming outside tomorrow. So tonight it's supposed to be, I have a lot of work to get done tomorrow. Tomorrow it's supposed to be, like I said, down to 22. Hi, Bruce. And then the day after, I think it's supposed to be down to like 30. It's not supposed to get quite as cold the second night, but we do have 2 nights that are supposed to be below freezing before it jumps back up. So I think I'm going to try to leave that stuff on the trees for 2 nights. You can't really leave it on longer than that because you'll start to hurt the plant. And so I think 2 nights will be okay, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And I will see you back here in a couple of days to see if my trees, see if the buds survived. The trees will survive. We'll come back in a couple of days and see if the buds survived and see if I can get any fruit this year. Just a quick sneak peek. Look at all the beautiful tomatoes that I have. They didn't fit anymore inside under my grow lights. My grow lights only go up to about here. So I had to move them out into the greenhouse. And we're not getting cold enough that it will freeze in the greenhouse, so I'm not worried about that. I'll get rid of some of these gross leaves. But I did need to start hardening these off a little bit. So the benefit of growing in a greenhouse is that depending on what your panels are made out of, mine are a polycarbonate, and I believe they're 70% light penetration. So they're not full sun, which helps with heat, but it also helps that you don't have to harden off your plants as much. So it's a little side benefit that helps you cheap. I am going to have to come through here, and there's a couple, like this one has already started to put on little flowers. I'll pick those off. I'm gonna come through and pick all of those off because I don't want them producing flowers yet. I want them turning into big giant plants. And these are all determinants, so I really don't want them to think that it's time to start producing fruit yet. But yeah, they're looking absolutely gorgeous. And then I also have some artichokes over here. They're looking like little dinosaur plants. I love the way the artichokes look. They look like prehistoric. I also have some peppers back there. Same thing, I'm gonna have to go in there and pinch off the flowers because these plants are just trying to get crazy up in here. Alrighty, y'all, it is 2 days later. So we wrapped all this up, and I haven't touched it because we had 2 nights below freezing in a row, and the first night didn't get as bad as they said. It only got down to 25. So it was supposed to get down to 22. That was the prediction. And we're gonna see. My kid can have his blanket back. We're gonna see if this works. Y'all, so I don't think the news is good, unfortunately. So there's a lot of stuff that got hit by the frost on the outside. There's some inside that looked like they might still bud and grow, that were more immature, but there are a lot that the fruit bud has turned black. And unfortunately, that just means that it got too cold last night, which is really frustrating. So 2 nights ago, it was supposed to get down to 22 degrees. It only got down to 25, but that's still pretty darn cold. And the blanket, throwing the frost fabric and the blanket over it, it will protect it for a couple of degrees. And I think it just got too cold. It was too much. Yeah, if you look in here, these ones are like really black. This one also looks pretty awful. So this branch like broke. I'll have to prune this off. I'll come in here with snippers and prune that off. But these ones look just as bad. So if you look like right there, that doesn't look like any of them survived. Again, there are some like a couple of little tiny ones that were younger that might be okay, but it's kind of too early to tell. But unfortunately, a lot of these more matured buds, they just froze. They just froze. It just got too cold. Unfortunately, that's just a side effect of living in the climate that I do, because when we have weird years like this, so like ones like that, it just came right off. There are a couple of other ones that, like I said, they're younger, they might do okay. But yeah, I just might not get fruit for this year. Honestly, these fruit trees aren't that old, so if I got any fruit, it wouldn't have been that many. But yeah, it's a big old bummer, guys. It's a big old bummer. All right, well, we did our best, and that's all we can do, and we'll try again next year, I guess. Thanks so much for coming along with me, you guys. And today was a fail, but we'll have successes. It's just a part of gardening. Brucey, what are you doing? What are you doing, big boy? All right, hi everyone. I didn't want to leave the video on a bummer. So it's the next day, and I have gotten over my sadness from my fruit trees, and we're doing more projects today. So this is going to be the new garden space, and it's looking lovely. My husband is wood burning the posts, and they look really, really good. I'm super excited about it. So we're gonna wood burn those and then seal them so that they'll hopefully last a long time. And while he's doing that, I got edging for around the bed, and then some pavers and some rocks that I can put on the inside. I'm super excited. We're moving on. I'm gonna do some planting later today, and I'll probably bring you guys along, but I just wanted to end it on a little bit more positive note. But thank you so much for coming along with me, and I hope I see you next time. Bye.